I would like to call on Aniedi Obong, who is the Program Manager, Sub-Saharan Africa for Developer Program, to join us on stage.
Thank you, Femi. So once again, welcome to DevFest. We're very excited to be here. Running a little bit behind schedule, but we'll try and make this very fast. Today, we're here to talk technology. We're here to network. We're here to meet one another. Here to connect to awesome speakers, mentors, and most importantly, ourselves. I'll just do a brief talk about, what we've done with GDGs and where we are right now, and basically create some opportunities for us to be able to share more information. Is this working? Okay, so what are GDG DevFest? So DevFest are basically community-run events that are put together once every year during a particular season from August till about November that are much larger than the regular GDG meetups. Your GDGs are groups of people who volunteer to come together to share their knowledge, to teach, to learn from one another, talk about what they are working on. It really doesn't belong to anyone, or no one is paid, and I say this a lot of times to them. I'm probably the only one in the GDG program who earns money for it. Everybody else is a labor of love. So if there's a session here you're not happy with, if there's a topic that's not being covered, then it's up to you to make the community great. So multiple product areas, it could be hackathons, it could be code labs. All GDGs around the world are at liberty to do their events the way they do them. We also notice that a lot of times GDGs come together to what we call clusters. So you could have a cluster in the Southwest, the South-South, or in the North-Central, just coming together to create an awesome developer event. I'm really, really very excited about the fact that we've come together for today. So, the GDG program is 11 years on and counting. It started way back in 2008 without Google's support, almost without Google's knowledge. People who are excited about Google technology came together and formed what they call Google Technology User Groups. And this was happening on two sides of the world. One in Philippines and then the other one, I think, in Czech Republic or then Czechoslovakia. And Google got wind of it, was excited that people were excited about their technologies and jumped on it. Over the years, we've built a very exciting program. And right now, we're close to over 800 registered groups on the GDG platform. What are our goals for DevFest? So basically, straightforward, and I'm just going to read through the slides and then move on. So we want to educate developers on Google products. And it's not just Google products. It's also open technologies. And even other proprietary products that our programs have to run on. We've got Firebase, which you'll hear about later today, which is very good for both iOS developers and for Android developers and for anybody on the web. So whatever your browser, whatever technology company you're sort of affiliated to, we actually have education for you that we feel our products at Google, our technologies at Google could be useful to you if you knew how to use them the way an engineer, or what we call a first-party engineer at Google would. Now, we have some of our first-party engineers at Google here who've come in either from London or from View to share with you. But think of our engineers as those guys who build Chrome, YouTube, Search, Google Maps. Definitely, they do have a lot of resources at their disposal, and I'll tell you a little bit about what our team does to make sure developers like you on the outside have the same resources and the same power. So we normally normalize consideration towards diversity. So we don't want to only happen in Silicon Valley or in Northwest Europe or in Mountain View or California. By driving DevFest, we're able to have events all around the continent, whether it's in Bagante, whether it's in Nairobi, whether it's in Miami, whether it's in Port Harcourt, whether it's in Owerri. By doing DevFest, it's a commitment by the company to ensure that everyone, irrespective of where you are, who you love, who you worship, what tribe you belong to, you have access to our resources. Of course, to strengthen our engagement, there are many of you here who have known each other for months on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and all other platforms. You're going to meet each other for the first time today. We're very excited about that. And everyone loves the GDG program. So we continue doing DevFest to increase the love of the GDG program. Now, I'll just share something with you. Earlier this year, we had a summit, and we usually do these summits. But to understand diversity, look at this image. From Nouakchott to Nairobi, where we had our community summit. We gathered all the GDG leaders. Well, not all. We couldn't get all of them. Some of them are not happy about that. We gathered a number of the GDG leaders to come together to talk about the program. Team building, personal experiences, sharing. And we had a GDG lead coming from Nouakchott in Mauritania to Nairobi. That's a 16-hour flight. And when we go to San Francisco, from Amsterdam to San Francisco is 11 hours. From London to San Francisco, sometimes you can get a 10-hour flight. But within Africa, just to connect us as Africans, from Nouakchott to Nairobi, 16 hours. But that's not the true picture. We're so unconnected, so diverse, and so geographically separated that to get to Nairobi, she had to fly to Istanbul. And then Nairobi. Connection, the most affordable and the most reasonable connection between Nouakchott and Nairobi required you either went to Amsterdam, or you went to Paris, you went to Rome, you flew Lufthansa, or you flew Air France KLM, just to get to Nairobi. Think about that, the difficulty in Africa. We're 2,000 languages, and you guys in Nigeria have like 400 of those 2,000. But this was the summit in the end, and we joked during the summit that I'm not even sure sometimes, things that happen at probably maybe the African Union or the UN had as much diversity as this. We had people from 26 countries, or representing 26 countries, from 30 nationalities. We had people from Europe, from France, and Germany who work in the region and lead community groups like Femi, Moi, and Naniak do, just to make sure that technology gets to everyone. So to get to this picture, it took a lot of effort. And the day after that, we had DevFest Nairobi, 1,500 developers. This was the group picture. And I feel, and if you believe we're going to have a more awesome group picture like this, give yourselves a round of applause. Actually, there was a challenge. If you search for some guy called Karim Kanji on Twitter, he said, Nigeria, we love you, but you can't do this. And Femi, Moi, and Loknan said, we can do this. And they came to me and said, can we do this in Lagos? I said, done. So, I'll tell you a little bit about our team, who we are, what we do. So I work on a team called the Developer Ecosystem Team at Google. And like I said, our job is to ensure that third-party engineers who don't work for Google, developers, designers, product managers who don't work for Google, have almost, if not the same amount of resources that an engineer at Google will have. So later today, you're going to hear from Toki, who works on the Android platform. You're going to hear from Kechi, who works on the Firebase team. And when they sit in Google's offices, connected to Google's networks and all our resources, honestly, they have an awful amount of resources at their disposal. But my team, located around the world, you can see that red dot, I think that's me. We are about 50, 60, 70 strong, and our job is to ensure that we expose Google's APIs, tools, tutorials, build communities, and organize events like this so that you can get as much power, resources, knowledge, and information as Toki and Kechi. And with the help of our developer communities, this is actually what the footprint is. And I always used to say when I was younger, my dad kind of like moved a lot, and I also traveled a lot. If I went to a new town, I used to play basketball then. Forget about my 1 pack right now. Even though I've been working on it, I think I'm on like 2 packs. And probably by the end of the year, I'll be like 6, right? But anyway, I would just walk into a town, and I'll just go to the basketball court. And I'll stand on the side, and when the ball comes out, I'll pick it up and I'll shoot. And I hope I make a basket. Sometimes I make a basket, and then automatically, I got selected on a team, and I made new friends in a city. Well, you're in a tech community right now. If you find yourself anywhere in the world, whether it's in Warsaw, Beijing, San Francisco, Nairobi, Cape Town, Nouakchott, Atlanta, and you want to connect with like-minded people like you, just go to your favorite search engine, I wonder what that is, and type GDG. Or you go to meetup.com. and look for a GDG. Interestingly, something interesting about meetup.com, we had them at our summit, the global summit earlier this year. And something struck me when the CEO of Meetup was talking to us. He said, at meetup.com, we created an online platform to enable people connect offline. We created an online platform to enable people connect offline. And it has a lot to do with the theme of our DevFest, which is digital well-being. You must not stay too connected to your screens. You must not be worried about the fear of missing out. Sometimes you need to unplug. And the reason why we're having this conference and attempting to bring 2,000 people here is that sometimes you move from behind YouTube, Stack Overflow, or whatever tutorial sites you are working on, and just come and connect with yourselves. Our programs we run as a team. GDG is our flagship program. But we also have things like the community groups program where we encourage other groups. AI Saturdays, School of AI, they're in there, courtesy of us, running a meetup. Django girls, Rails girls, Java, Python user groups. We're very excited to connect with you under our community groups program. And you can find more about that by reaching out to me or reaching out to any of the organizers of today's event. The GBG program is pretty active, Google Business Groups, and Lagos is coming up again. Our Launchpad is our startup mentorship program, which will be running class 2, the third high touch point tomorrow, next week. And we have an agency program where we work with dev shops, people who build apps for clients. We want your apps to be as good as Google Apps, so we provide support for you. And then we have the experts program where we have people like Femi, who have 2 strong personalities. Technical ability that is unmatched, or is at the level of an expert at Google. A software engineer at Google will be at the same level as someone we call a Google developer expert. And secondly, they contribute to community. I thank Femi enough for building the community, for loving this community, and for giving his time and personal money to make sure that GDG Lagos. Can we give Femi a round of applause? And last but not least, we've got our Women Tech Makers program, which is basically our umbrella program for diversity at Google to ensure that more people become part and parcel of the tech ecosystem, of the tech picture, not just men or a specific kind of category. But diversity goes beyond just men. When we think of diversity, we think of geographic diversity, which I showed you earlier on. We think of economic diversity. Is this only for the rich people or the people who went to the best schools in the world? Or do you have to be in Silicon Valley before you can become a successful developer? We think of diversity. Diversity has many lenses. And as you think of diversity and inclusion on your team, in your groups, in your next project, don't just think it is gender, male, female. There are many lenses, and we can talk about that later on. Right now, here are a couple of resources that can help you get started. People always ask me, how do I get started? How do I get started? I actually had to write a blog post one time that advises people how to get started. But we've noticed something with Google developers and with developers all over the world. Sometimes it's not your technical skills that's the problem. It's your soft skills. It's your people skills. It's your interviewing skills. It's your general knowledge skills. So our team, the Grow with Google team, built an amazing course called the Digital Skills for Africa program, where an initial commitment to train 1 million people in digital skills over a year has now scaled to a 5-year commitment to train 10 million Africans in digital skills over a period of 5 years. I proudly say that my colleagues on that team, some of them are here, I would say a word very soon. They so far have trained more than 2.5 million people on digital skills. Isn't that amazing? Now, sometimes people ask, what can you learn in 4 hours? Let me tell you one person's story. A barber in Lekki learned how to put his barbing saloon on Google Maps. Someone searched on how to barb or where to barb hair at midnight on a Sunday. His result came up. It ended up being a Caucasian man who needed home service and was willing to pay 25,000 naira for one haircut. That is the difference between someone or some artisan who has digital skills and the others that don't have digital skills. The guy turned up in the office the next day and said, what else can Google do to bring more hammer to my business? So in addition, we've got Tech Guide, which is kind of like a list of created resources. If you search Tech Dev Guide, this is actually a URL I created. You can find out about what kind of like the ideal path, the things you need to become a successful software engineer, or to kind of get a job at a company like Google, Facebook, GitHub, Microsoft. Now, this stuff is hardcore. It is not 90 days or become a developer in 30 days. There's a lot of references there, but you should check it out. bit.ly tech-dev-guide. And finally, if you've built something interesting that you'd like to share, you'd like us to know about, we've opened this up for success stories. Same kind of URL, bit.ly dev/apps. Now, don't come and do your Hello World 101 to-do list, and then that's not what we're looking for. We've talked about a lot of technology, TensorFlow, Android, the web, and so much more. Where you've put these things together and you've built a game-changing app, and you want my colleagues, or the GDG Lagos team to know, so that we can showcase you to the world. As a matter of fact, it's my KPI to find success stories. So while most of you complain that you're not exposed, you're not given opportunities, the truth is, this salary that I'm enjoying, if I can't find success stories, I might lose it. I need you to build awesome stuff, and I need you to let us know. So go ahead with Google Developers. If you go to developers.google.com, it's our desire that you can build anything with Google. And we've seen perfect examples of people who have built absolutely anything. Awesome apps, games, etc., on the Google Developer platform. So I'll now hand over to my colleagues, Tutu and to Slim, to tell you about the power of Google.
Morning or afternoon already? Okay. Morning, everyone. How are you doing?